The year is 1947. The British Empire withdraws from India, creating two nations, India and Pakistan. The partition sparks mass migrations and violence. Amid this chaos, the seeds of the Kashmir conflict are sown. Kashmir, a land of beauty, becomes a bone of contention. The Maharaja hesitates to join India or Pakistan. Tribesmen from Pakistan invade Kashmir. The Maharaja signs the instrument of accession, joining India. This act sets the stage for the First Indo-Pakistani War. The war ends in 1949 with a UN-brokered ceasefire. The conflict continues to simmer, casting a long shadow over the subcontinent. The 1947 war over Kashmir is but the first act in a tragic drama. In 1965, a border dispute in the Rann of Kutch escalates into a full-blown war, once again centered on Kashmir. India and Pakistan engage in fierce battles on land, air and sea. The war ends in a stalemate, but the underlying tensions remain unresolved. The 1971 war, though primarily sparked by the Bangladesh Liberation War, also sees fighting in Kashmir. This time, India emerges victorious, further solidifying its control over a large portion of the disputed territory. However, the desire for Kashmir burns strong in Pakistan. In 1999, Pakistani troops disguised as militants infiltrate the Kargil sector of Indian-administered Kashmir. The Kargil War, fought in the treacherous heights of the Himalayas, exposes the fragility of the peace. India launches a massive military operation to evict the intruders. After weeks of intense fighting, Pakistan withdraws its forces. But the conflict leaves a lasting impact on the region's geopolitics. These wars, each a tragedy in its own right, represent missed opportunities for peace. They highlight the human cost of the Kashmir conflict, a cost borne not just by soldiers on the front lines, but also by countless civilians caught in the crossfire. The wars also demonstrate the cyclical nature of the conflict, where periods of relative calm are punctuated by bursts of violence, each incident further deepening the divide between India and Pakistan. The turn of the millennium sees a shift in the nature of the Kashmir conflict. While conventional warfare between India and Pakistan becomes less likely, a new threat emerges: terrorism. Militant groups operating from within Pakistan launch attacks in Indian-administered Kashmir, targeting both military and civilian targets. In 2016, the Uri attack on an Indian army base in Kashmir sends shockwaves through India. The attack, carried out by militants who infiltrated from Pakistan, results in the deaths of 19 Indian soldiers. India retaliates with surgical strikes across the line of control, targeting terrorist launch pads in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. The Pulwama attack in 2019 further escalates tensions. A suicide bomber rams a car laden with explosives into a convoy of Indian security forces, killing 40 Indian paramilitary personnel. The attack, claimed by a Pakistan-based terrorist group, sparks outrage in India. India launches airstrikes on what it claims were terrorist camps in Pakistan. Pakistan retaliates with airstrikes of its own, leading to aerial engagements between the two countries. The Pulwama attack and its aftermath demonstrate the volatile nature of the Kashmir conflict and the ever-present risk of escalation. It also highlights the complex interplay between terrorism, state actors, and the unresolved political dispute over Kashmir. The year 2025 marks a perilous turn in the India-Pakistan conflict. On April 22nd, a terrorist attack in Kashmir shatters any illusion of peace. 26 civilians, many of them tourists, are killed. India blames Pakistan, accusing it of supporting the terrorists. Pakistan denies involvement, sparking a diplomatic confrontation. On May 7th, India launches airstrikes inside Pakistan. This marks a dangerous escalation between the nuclear-armed neighbors. Pakistan vows to retaliate, calling it an act of aggression. Reports emerge of Pakistani shelling along the line of control. The international community watches, fearing a spiral of violence. The escalation underscores the volatile nature of the Kashmir conflict. With tensions high, the situation remains precarious. The specter of a larger conflict looms large. Section 5, the global stage: international reactions to a regional powder keg. The international community reacts with alarm to the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan. The United States, long a key player in South Asia, urges both sides to exercise restraint and de-escalate the situation. The US calls for dialogue and diplomacy to resolve the crisis, emphasizing the need to avoid further violence. China, Pakistan's close ally, expresses concern over the situation and calls for calm and restraint from both India and Pakistan. China reiterates its stance on Kashmir as a bilateral issue between the two countries and urges them to find a peaceful resolution through dialogue. The United Nations, acutely aware of the potential for a wider conflict, issues a statement urging both India and Pakistan to avoid any actions that could further escalate the situation. The UN Secretary-General calls for dialogue and diplomacy, emphasizing the need for a peaceful resolution to the long-standing Kashmir dispute. The international community's response highlights the global ramifications of the Kashmir conflict. The escalation raises concerns about a potential nuclear confrontation between India and Pakistan, two countries with a history of conflict and a shared border. The international community recognizes the need for a peaceful resolution, but finding a solution acceptable to all parties remains a daunting challenge. Section 6. Military muscles, India and Pakistan's armed forces. India and Pakistan possess significant military capabilities, making any conflict between them a matter of grave concern. India, with its larger economy and population, boasts a numerically superior and technologically advanced military. Its armed forces are equipped with a mix of modern weaponry, including fighter jets, tanks and missiles, some acquired from countries like Russia, France and Israel. Pakistan, while having a smaller military than India, has invested heavily in its defense capabilities, particularly its nuclear arsenal. Pakistan's military relies on a mix of indigenously produced and foreign-acquired weaponry, including fighter jets from China and the United States. Pakistan's military doctrine emphasizes asymmetrical warfare capabilities designed to offset India's conventional superiority. The military capabilities of both nations, while intended for defense, contribute to the atmosphere of mistrust and insecurity in the region. The arms race between India and Pakistan diverts resources from crucial development needs and fuels a dangerous cycle of escalation. The presence of nuclear weapons in the hands of two adversarial neighbors adds another layer of complexity and risk to the already volatile situation. Section 7. The human cost of conflict, life in the shadow of war. Beyond the military hardware and strategic calculations lies a stark reality: the human cost of the Kashmir conflict. For decades, the people of Kashmir have lived in the shadow of war, their lives punctuated by violence, displacement, and fear. Civilians on both sides of the line of control bear the brunt of the conflict, often caught in the crossfire or targeted by militant groups. The recent escalation in May 2025 brought the human cost of the conflict into sharp focus. The terrorist attack on April 22nd claimed the lives of innocent civilians, shattering families and communities. The subsequent airstrikes and shelling resulted in further casualties, adding to the long list of lives lost or forever altered by the conflict. The conflict has also taken a toll on the mental health and well-being of the Kashmiri people. Living with the constant threat of violence, the fear of being caught in the crossfire, and the trauma of loss have left deep scars on the psyche of the population. The cycle of violence and the lack of a political solution perpetuate a sense of hopelessness and despair. Section 8. Beyond the battlefield, the economic fallout of the Kashmir dispute. The Kashmir conflict's impact extends far beyond the battlefield, casting a long shadow over the economic prospects of both India and Pakistan. The massive military expenditures incurred by both countries divert resources from essential development needs, hindering economic growth and perpetuating poverty. The conflict also creates an environment of uncertainty and risk, deterring foreign investment and hindering trade. The volatile security situation and the potential for escalation make businesses wary of investing in the region, depriving the local economies of much-needed capital and employment opportunities. The tourism industry, once a vital source of income for Kashmir, has been particularly hard hit. The frequent unrest, curfews and travel advisories issued by various countries have led to a sharp decline in tourist arrivals, impacting the livelihoods of thousands of Kashmiris who depend on tourism for their income. Section 9. a path forward towards dialogue and lasting peace. The recent escalation in May 2025 serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for a peaceful resolution to the Kashmir conflict. The status quo, characterized by mistrust, intermittent violence, and the ever-present risk of escalation, is unsustainable and detrimental to the interests of all parties involved. Finding a lasting solution to the Kashmir issue will require a multifaceted approach that addresses the underlying political, social, and economic grievances. Dialogue, both between India and Pakistan and within Kashmir, is essential. Both countries must engage in sincere and sustained efforts to rebuild trust and find common ground. The international community has a crucial role to play in facilitating dialogue, providing mediation support, and encouraging both India and Pakistan to choose the path of peace. The alternative, continued conflict and the risk of a catastrophic escalation, is too dangerous to contemplate. The people of Kashmir, who have endured decades of suffering, deserve a future free from violence and fear, a future where they can live in peace and prosperity.